I asked a senior leader of a large organization on once as to what do you do exactly. So he told me that over time I have realized that there's only one thing that I do, and that is to talk, talk, and talk, and talk to different stakeholders, talk to employees, talk to the management, talk to the local village population, and it's just communicate. And he was a very effective person. He rather is a very effective person. He has made projects happen. He has done greenfield projects, and he can somehow make things happen. Whereas in the same organization, there are several people who are unable to make things happen at the same positions as well. It made me think as to what is this huge difference in communication. While we know of communication as a process in which we engage to share ideas, the process through which we engage to provide instruction, the process for which we engage to motivate employees, motivate teams and employees, leaders have got one thing very different. They communicate to connect. This made me realize that what is this whole thing about? Let me try to dig deeper into it. And I tried to understand this phenomena for a long time, and now I'm putting these ideas through to you. Leaders do one thing very differently, is that they don't only communicate to share ideas and thoughts and to instruct and to motivate. They communicate to connect. And through this connection, and everything happens. Now, going back, how does someone communicate? We all know that we communicate in non-verbals, spoken, that's the verbal, the language that we speak in, and of course written. They are the three primary forms of communication. But we must also remember that non-verbal is the most prevalent. Whether we like it or not, the non-verbal communication bit is the most important bit, and that's where the whole concept of connect comes from. I'll explain as I go forward in this video. Now, so when we are talking of communicating to connect, let me share a few more examples of once I was taking a workshop, and a leader, the business head, in between the strategy and competitive advantage workshop, he burst out into a very compelling story on why he thinks that they have been able to achieve the past glory that they had, why were they sinking now, and what they need to do to going forward. This compelling story was just like an extempore speech by him. There was no preparation, there was nothing. But the CEO, he just made a very strong statement then and there. And believe me, after that, the tone of the workshop changed fundamentally. Now, after that, once I also saw, again, a CEO story, is that there was an employee who had resigned, and he had written a very tough mail to the CEO criticizing the policies of the organization and all. So at which the CEO had called him and had a frank discussion. And the elements of the discussion was that the CEO said very clearly, I'm not here to ask you to stay back. You are free to do what you want to do. But I wanted you to understand very clearly why we do certain things and how we want to constantly improve. And that is a genuine effort. There might be failings, we'll be setting it right, but we have to go forward, and there might be some mistakes as well. And this frank discussion, as a result of this frank discussion, the employee who was leaving, he left in any case, but he left with a very good feeling about the organization where he was. So, two of these events made me realize that it's not about a CEO visiting a suddenly dropping into a marriage or something which is helping him connect with the people, but it's the communication and the communication to connect which helps. So what are these attributes of communication to connect? Now, having distilled various such thought processes, I have realized that there are four things which are the fundamental for the communication to connect. First is truth. There must be plain and simple and absolute truth in the conversation. Second, there must be humility. The person, the two people who are speaking, should be speaking as equals. They have to try to understand each other, both sides, and they have to try to converse as people. They should not be conversing as a senior junior. They should not be conversing as a richer or a poorer guy. They should not be conversing as an aid giver and an aid taker. But they have to converse as two individuals. There has to be, the third item is there has to be one central idea around which the whole communication is happening. There has to be one idea. It cannot be a multiple ideas which are being talked about in that conversation. If you go back to both the stories that I have talked before, there was one central idea. There was survival in one case, and in the other case, the situation here was of we need to understand each other. And there should be no hidden agenda. Once these four absolutes, which I call them, are fulfilled, you set the stage of communication to connect, and that's what leadership is all about. Leaders understand this very well. They are able to carry this out very well. That's why often nowadays we also see this whole concept fail. You will now let me take the case of several scenarios of political leadership. Which seems to have reached a crisis point worldwide, because political leadership often has lofty ideas. They will talk of trying to connect and make things happen for the poor or their electorate, but they miserably fail because very often there is a lack of truth and there are hidden agendas. Now the moment these two come in, one cannot communicate to connect. As very early in India, we have read the speech of Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, which was post-independence that he gave, which is known as the Tryst with Destiny. That speech ignited a lot of minds. Even the freedom fight ignited a lot of minds. The tallest leader of Indian freedom movement, which is Mahatma Gandhi, was able to communicate because he was able to communicate and connect. He was known as a true person. He was known for his humility. He was known for one central idea, and he had no hidden agenda with him. He never wanted anything. He just wanted the freedom of the country. And the other side, if you see, I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King. This speech was again on one central idea and one central theme. So the ability to connect is based on these four absolutes. If you are in a leadership position, you have to realize that most of your work involves communication, and people judge you based on the non-verbal communication. How do you convey things like truth? How do you convey things like humility? How do you convey things like I have no hidden agenda? You only convey it through the non-verbal gestures that you are doing while you're talking. So therefore remember one thing very clearly, that communication to connect is all about non-verbal, is all about these four absolutes, and it's all about being true. Now, as a leader, think about these, practice these, and make yourself like that if you want to be able to work and motivate and energize your employees, the way I have quoted of the two instances before.